I'm sure you're going to enjoy class. Yeah. So today we are going to be talking about table relationship. We need to understand how these tables work because in our previous class we cleaned the data in a table. Yeah. So but it most times, in fact, all the time going forward, both in Power BI, both in SQL, your tables are not going to come in just one table. Your table are going to be in different tables. And all these different tables may be talking about just one observation. Maybe they're just talking about one customer table, transactional table. They may just be talking about one transaction, but they will not be in the same table. They will be in different table, and there has to be a relationship between these tables. So today we're going to look at how how these tables are created, how this relationship happens, or type of relationship, and all of those in Power BI. So the first thing we're going to look at is, sorry, this thing may be malfunctioning, my keypad, but I've ordered a new one anyway. So just bear with me. Okay. So what is table relationship? When you look at different tables, how are they connected to each other? There are uh there are I think you understand this thing more, you appreciate it more when we get to SQL, because SQL you cannot put everything in one table. In SQL you must have to separate them so that when you need any particular data, you go to the particular table that data is, and of course get the data that you need. So what is table relationship? Table relationship is simply a link between two tables based on matching columns. So it may not be just two tables, it can be multiple tables. Most of the times it will be multiple tables. So it's a relationship between tables and how they are matched together using um, columns. All right. So when we jump into Power BI, you understand it better. So there are different type of connections. There are different ways these tables relate to each other. The first one is one to many. The first one is one to one. We have the one to many, and then we have many to many, which is rare. You hardly see this many to many. The most common one is one to many. I will explain this better in another slide. So now, when they are connecting, you have to be careful of the direction, especially in Power BI, though this connection happens automatically in Power BI when you load your data. Power BI does this connection for you. You don't have to be the one to do it. But sometimes Power BI can make a mistake and connect the wrong table using the wrong columns. So imagine if you don't know how these connections are made, you just work with a wrong data instead of you to go back and just fix it. All right, because once your tables are connected wrongly, you certainly will be getting wrong result or wrong outcome when you do your analysis and visualization. So, but I'll explain this better when I jump into Excel. We'll do a practical show of this one. Then, why do we even need to talk about table relationship? Obviously, relationship allow Power BI to combine data from multiple tables without duplicating data. So, this is the major reason why we need to understand table relationship, because Power BI definitely will be combining several tables. Just like I mentioned, the last table we used, all the data we needed was, I made a mistake. I'm supposed to use that same data, but I used a different random data. Whichever way, no problem. I will try to explain it very well so that your assignment will not be to go and use that our data. Since you refuse to look at that data that we used last week or the other day, you now go back to it and use it as your assignment. So now Power BI will load your data. We loaded a single data that day, a single table, which is wrong. Most of the times, we are going to be having multiple tables loaded together in Power BI. So now, the relationship allows Power BI to combine tables from multiple data from multiple tables without duplicating them. All right. Now, what is primary keys? This is now where you hear something like primary keys and foreign keys. These primary keys and foreign keys are actually in your table. Remember that these tables are connected by columns. All right, the values in a column. So these values are what we call primary keys and foreign keys. Let me show you. Let me just take you to Excel at once so we don't waste time. So look at this data here. Look at this table that I created. I don't know. I don't really know this data, but I just created it. So I should have used that table yesterday, the other day, but it's good that I even forgot to use it so that you now be the one to use it. So here we'll have the order table. Here we'll have the date, the order. So this is a transactional table. The order ID, you already know what ID is. These ID are unique identifiers, right? So order table, order date, the date the orders were placed, then the quantity that was bought for each of this order. So this is simply saying that this was the first order that was placed that day. This is the second order, this is the third order, and so on. Then here you have your price. This is the price of that item. So one of the item is 2.5. Then the sales price means the total quantity that was bought. That is this please, I have to call you back. I'm in a meeting. So this is 2.5 times the quantity that will give you the sales price. Then this is the customer ID, the ID of the customer that bought this particular order, that placed this particular order. And this is the name of the customer that placed this order. Then this is the country where the customer came from, Mexico. And this is
We
the
can't hear you properly.
can you hear me?
Not clearly.
You can't hear me.
Okay, it's okay now.
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay. So this is the phone number of the customer in case we want to contact the customer. And then this is the product ID. Product ID, obviously, the product, we don't even know what this customer, we just know that the customer came and bought this three quantity. This is the price, this is the total amount, this is blah blah, this is the name of the customer, the country, which product did they buy. So this is now the products they bought. Basmati rice. I think I just mentioned rice a few minutes ago. Jollof rice. So these are different. I think this company, this business sells just rice. They have different kind of rice: basmati, jasmine rice, white rice, rice variety, arbori rice, rice premium, and all that. But this particular Mexican lady bought basmati rice, 1 kg, 3 pieces of it. Then this is the store ID and this is the store location. Since it's a Mexican lady, so she bought Mexico City. This is the location of the store. So if you see this table now, you realize that it has so many information, so much information. Remember when we were talking about data integrity, right? We said the first rule of data is that each column must contain one variable, one observational unit, right? So you can see that this table is actually obeying that rule. Number one, it's containing, here is just the product ID all through. Here is just dates all through. This one's talking about quantity, right? Then the second rule of data integrity says that each table must be talking about one observation. A table must be talking about one observation. But this table here is not talking about one observation. It's talking about so many observations. You can see this is order dates, order ID, the quantity that was ordered, right? So these three columns is talking about this three columns talks about what is referring to the order. From here to here is talking about the order. So we can as well call it the order table, here to here. Then this place talks about the customer name, country, phone number. So from here to here, it's talking about what? The customer. Then this place is talking about the product. You can see this is the product name, the product that was bought. So here And then here it's talking about, this is the price of the product, the unit price. This is talking about the product. And then the store ID, store location, this is talking about the store. Can you see that we have about 4 different observations here in one table? So when you get to SQL, this is unacceptable. It is very, very unacceptable. Hello? Okay. All right. Yeah, just send it, send it. I've seen it. Okay. So, all right. So you can see, sorry about that. Sorry. So you can see that we have 4 different observations, 4 different observations in one table, which is very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. And we need to sort that out. We need to sort that out so that our data can be clean. Now, how do we do that? We are going to do that by separating them. If you come to this next slide, you can see what I did here. Just like I told you, I just carried this observation. This is for the order. It is for the order table. You can see. If we get to SQL, this is exactly how SQL is going to treat this table. It is going to treat this table as 4 different tables. So that when you want to fetch any information about any unit, these are 3 different observations here. If you want to fetch anything about the customer, you just go to customer table and get the information you need. If you want to get anything from the store table, you just go to store table. Imagine if you just want to get something from, maybe you want to get the customer's country. You have to pull out this entire table. So this is just 10 rows, right? Now, imagine if you want to work on this data and it's for 1 week, this is going to run into thousands. Like this table is going to run into thousands of rows, right? Thousands of rows. And you just want to get this customer's country. You're going to pull out the entire thousands or hundreds of thousands of rows. And imagine if your company is paying Microsoft for cloud space. So you're going to wait for that thing to load for that number of time. And you people are paying per second. So, but imagine if you just have a smaller table that has only the thing you're looking for. It's just within seconds it will load up. So you see, now we have it as this. This is the observation. We separated it. This is just talking about order, the order. So you can come here, you can see the order ID. You can come here, you can see the date it was placed and the quantity that was bought. You come to the customers table, you can see the customer's information, the customer's name, the customer ID, the customer's country, the customer's phone number. Even without any other thing, just by looking at it, it's even cleaner. Like it's cleaner. You can easily spot any information you need from any of the table. So if I want to know the product that was bought, I can just come to product table. I don't even have any business with all of these tables. They are just there on their own. I come here and just get the detail that I need. You get? So this is a cleaner data than this one. Both in Power BI may actually accept this. If you give Power BI this one, you can still work with it just like you saw yesterday. We were able to load that data into our Power BI and it worked, right? Now, if you get to Excel, SQL, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying so far. Do you understand me? Does anybody understand me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So good. Success, please go ahead.
So, well done. So basically, if a table is given to you, are you the one that is meant to do the separation, or they are basically coming in this form, like different kind?
Okay, yeah. The table is going to come in different forms. Nobody's going to give you one big table. So the table can come as different tables, but it's not your duty. It's not you that will do the separation. There are other people that does that. Is their job. The system administrator will do that job. All right. So now, but what if you don't have a system and you're the only data analyst there? Sometimes they will even separate those tables, but you will need to, like, there's a project we are going to work on. The tables are not together, they are separated like this, but you will need to merge them. We'll still get to merge and append in this program. You understand how to join different tables, how to separate different tables in Power BI. Does that answer your question? Okay, you're
Yes,
already
I think
scared. You're already scared that this guy. Instead of you to focus on learning the thing, you're already scared that you're not going to know how to separate the tables. But don't be scared. Don't worry, it's not your job. So what I'm trying to say that if this table is given to you, but this thing is simple now. This thing is simple. Just look at the observation. When you hear order ID, order date, quantity, you know that this is talking about the order, right? Now, when you hear customer ID, customer name, country, phone number, you know that all these things are still talking about the customer. So this is talking about customer. When you talk about product name, maybe product size, product color, anything that has to do with the product. No, like on your own with your instinct, you can tell that this is talking about the product. Store ID, store location, store address, store countries, you can tell that it's talking about the store. So you separate it. So we're able to separate the table. This one is talking about the order. This is talking about the customer. This is talking about the products. You can see the product's name, the product unit price, the product sales price. Do you get? I think this sales price is supposed to come to order because it was the order. So this is supposed to leave here and come to order. The sales price, because this is the quantity that was bought and this is the amount that was made from this quantity, but this price is the price of this product. So this one comes here. Now this is the store information, the store table. I call it the store table. So if you now look at this other table here, this is the same table here, but look at it here now. We've been able to break these ones out of this table. So we no longer need this table. So, but we can call this the general data because there's still a relationship between these two tables. If you have just this table, but then you have to know at the back of your mind that this table is still somewhere in the database. So if, for example, here that you have customer ID, you just want to know, okay, which customer is this customer that placed this order? This is the amount we made here. Which customer is this customer? You're not seeing any other thing about this customer in this table. You're only seeing the customer ID, right? So which customer is this? All you need to do is to carry this ID and go straight to customer table. This is the customer's table. The ID is customer 501. You come here, oh, customer 501 is Maria Lopez from Mexico. This is her phone number. Do you get? So you are not seeing all these other tables. You're not seeing these ones. You're not in the database because when you're querying database, it's only the table that you call that will pop up for you. So you're not seeing all these other tables. You just pick up the customer ID. You go here, call the customer ID. It will give you all the information about that customer. If you now say, okay, which product did this customer buy? All you need to do is just to get the product ID from the product column. And then you come to the product table. Look at the customer 9801. You can see the person bought basmati rice 1 kg. And this is the price they bought it. I don't know if you get the point. Does anybody understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand?
Yes.
So this is called table relationship. Now, all these tables you're seeing here, they are not just on their own. They are connected to each other, even though you can clearly see separate lines demarcating them from each other. But however, they are connected. They are not connected spiritually. They are connected technically. Let me explain. These tables are connected through what we call keys. They are connected through different keys. Now, let's look at these keys. What is the connection between these tables? Just like you saw that, I wanted to know something about this customer. Who is this customer? What did I do? I took the customer ID and I went where? To the customer's table. And with the ID, I was able to get all the information about that customer. Does that not ring any bell to you that they are connected? Because from the information I have here, I can go to any of these tables and get all the information. From the data I have here, I can go to any of these tables and get the full information that I need. Now, if I want to know the order, which order was placed, which was the first order that was placed on that day, which is order 101. So I want to know the detail about that order. I'll simply take this ID and go towards the order table. I'll see that the order was placed this date and this time. Then this is the quantity that was bought, and this is the total amount that was made from that order. I can even proceed to go to customer ID, come here and check which customer, this is the customer that placed the order. Like it's kind of a straightforward thing. So this brings us to what we call keys. So whenever you hear table relationship, the next thing that should come to your mind is keys. And what are these keys? They are called primary keys and what? Foreign keys. Yeah, foreign keys. Primary keys and foreign keys. So let's start with the primary key. Primary key is a unique identifier in a table that do not have duplicates. It is used to identify each row of a table. So this row, each of these rows you're seeing here are not just there for nothing. They have identifier, which is called primary key. And that is where you have your keys. These are the keys. These IDs you're seeing here. Anywhere you see ID, they are the keys. So it is now left for you, who is the analyst, to know whether it is the primary key or the primary key or the foreign key. All right. So let us start from here. This is the primary key. Primary keys are, how do you know a primary key? A primary key identifies a row, number one. Number two, they are not duplicated. A primary key cannot be duplicated. Now, when you come here, you can see that this order was the first order that was placed that day. This is the first order. There can never be another first order for that particular day. The next, even if it is the same customer that places that order again, it will automatically become the second order. So because primary key cannot duplicate in a column, that is how you identify a primary key. It cannot duplicate in a column. So let's see this column now. This is 001, 002, 003, 004, 005, and 006. There is nothing like a duplicate. It is primary key here. Let's come here, 501, 3. So there's no duplicates. Once you check the column ID, the ID column, and there's no duplicates, just know immediately that it's a primary key. So primary keys are unique identifier that identifies all the rows in a column without duplicates. If you check here, there's no duplicates. If you check here, there's no duplicates. Now let's come here and check. This is 101, 02, 03, 04, 01. Oh, 01 has duplicated itself here. So therefore, this is not a primary key. This is what? Foreign key. Foreign keys can duplicate as many times as possible. Look at 001, this is 001, this is 001, this is 003, this is 003, this is 002, 002. Therefore, this is what? This is second foreign key, and this is primary key. So a primary key is a unique identifier in a table that is used to identify all the rows of a table. So unique is same thing as non-duplicates. So they cannot duplicate. Therefore, they are unique. Why foreign keys are the keys in a column that is used to refer to the primary keys in another column. Just try to understand it, but if you don't worry. With time, you're going to get familiar with all of it and understand. So foreign keys are the keys that are used to identify the primary keys in another table. So they are keys in a table that is used to identify the primary keys in another table. Therefore, if I want to know this order, information about this order, I'll go to what? The order table here. So this one is unique, and this one is not unique. You can duplicate. This one, unique is same as duplicate, right? Non-duplicate, sorry. Can duplicate. This is just the two non-duplicate. Let me use normal English. Cannot duplicate. Does anybody understand me? Do you understand, please? Is Mr. Marco here? Can anybody explain what primary key? Jonathan, can you help us? Just give us your only understanding of primary key. Jonathan just ran away. She's still here. Jonathan, please unmute.
Hello, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. Right. So from the explanation.
Can you be louder, please?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, clearly. We can hear you now.
Okay, I was saying that from the explanation of my understanding is that primary key is unique. It's a unique identifier. And then for foreign keys, it's not unique, it can be duplicated. And then the foreign key is used to identify the primary key in the table. Thank you.
Thank you. That's just it. That is it. You've said it all. So, primary keys. Now, remember I told you that these tables are connected to each other through keys. It can either be primary keys or, of course, foreign keys. So, the main table is going to contain the foreign key. The reason why it is containing the foreign key, is because there's a repetition. What does this mean? This is the first order that was placed, right? It was placed by who? Maria Lopez, right? Now, if we come down here and still see this order, it means that this same order was placed again by the same customer. It was placed again by the same customer, Maria Lopez. Anywhere we see this order. So this is just like when you register in a school, in the university, they'll give you a reg number. So if you are taking 5 courses, when they go to their record, they are going to see your name 5 times because you're taking 5 courses. And that reg number given to you is your reg number. Nobody, no other student can have that reg number in that school. Even if they admit 1 million students, all the 1 million will have their separate reg numbers. So if you take a course, this means that you took this course, it is going to be your reg number here. If you come down here, it means this is still you taking another course. It is still you bought another course. So this person bought maybe a different product. Do you get? So let's take it. Okay, let me use your family to explain. If in your family your surname is maybe let me let's use a rich people's surname. Can any person suggest any rich people's surname? Any rich people, not all those Bamidele and all those no rich. Can any person Gates, something like Gates?
Or Dangote.
Johnson, something like Johnson. It's rich people that used to bear Johnson. So if your surname is Johnson and in your family, no, Alex is not rich people name. If your name is Johnson, your surname is Johnson, then you are Stella. Your name is Stella Johnson. Your brother is Alex. So he's Alex Johnson. So in your family, all of you bear the same name, which is your surname Johnson. But you now have the primary keys now is your individual names. Alex, Stella, Maria, all of you are different people with different names, but you have one common name, which is so when you now in your family, definitely there's no way your parents can name another person, another of their child, Stella. After naming you're the first daughter, they name you Stella, you're Stella Johnson. They'll now have a third daughter and name the daughter again Stella Johnson. Is it possible? Unless the parents are mad, but obviously no parent is mad, so they will never try that. They will name the third daughter another name. That means Stella cannot repeat in that family. In fact, even the extended family will be very careful not to name unless your father now marries maybe 50 wives that he now run out of names or run out of memory that he already have a Stella, then that's when they repeat it. But it will hardly happen that they will repeat a Stella in that family. So you'll be the only Stella in your family, right? Now imagine if you now get a job in a bank. Once you get into that bank, there are many Stellas in that bank. It's even possible to get a Stella Johnson, another family that bears Johnson in your workplace, right? So in your family, you are a primary key. You are the only Stella in that family. But when you now go out, maybe to school or to your job, your workplace, you are a foreign key. You are a foreign key representing your family in that workplace. If they want to send any gift pack, maybe you're a best, you've worked so hard and the company appreciates what you're doing. In fact, they want to extend the appreciation to your family for giving birth to such a wonderful daughter. They will send out gift pack through you to your family. So you are the primary key. But when you get to your workplace, you're now a foreign key there because there are so many Stellas. There's a repetition of Stella. They come from different. I don't know if this explains it though, but that's just the practical way of explaining it. So now let's look at the relationship between them. If I wanted to get anything, if I wanted to get any information from this table, like I wanted to know more about this thing because this customer ID is not really telling us much information. It's just the ID there. I want to know who is this customer. I'll go to what? The customer's table and get the full information about that customer. You get? So if I wanted to know who is this Stella, like you've been doing so well at work, and someone will be like, maybe a guy there will now begin to eye you and be like, they're interested in you, they're having a crush. Who is this Stella? That's the question they will are like, who is this girl? Who is this girl? How is he going to find out the answer to that? Who is this girl? It is by now going to your family. When you get to your family, or maybe you get to your friend or someone who knows you, they'll not be like, she's a rich kid though. She graduated from Harvard, that's the parent, they have money, they sponsor. That's why they will not be like, oh, that's why she's doing so well. She graduated from Harvard. Good. They will not realize that your father is rich. That the guy will not start loving you so much because you now realize that your parents, you're from a rich home. And eventually, if you fall in love with the guy, they'll now marry you. So it is the relationship. It is because you're a foreign kid, that's why they're able to trace you back to your home, your family, to now get more information about you. There's no other way I can explain this thing. If you still don't understand it at this point, I don't know. Maybe we'll have a private class, but that's just it. So primary keys are used to identify unique rows in a table, while foreign keys are used to reference the primary keys in another table. So therefore, the relationship is the keys, these primary keys and foreign keys. That's just it. That's how they are related. So all these tables now is related to this one through the keys. This one, look at the keys. This one and this one is related. Then this customer ID to customer ID is related. The product ID to product ID is related. Now, when you move this thing to Power BI, this is exactly how Power BI is going to match, link up these tables. It will match this column to this column. It will match this column to this column. It will match this column to this column and this column to this column. So if you take these 4 tables to Power BI and they are not seeing each other, there's nothing you can do. You can't do anything. They must have to see each other before it can work. Do you understand? So this is the concept of primary keys and foreign keys. So the next thing we want to talk about is cardinality. This one is down when we get into Power BI. You now hear about cardinality. Cardinality is the same thing as relationship, table relationship. How are these tables related? How are they related? How are they related? So we have the one-to-many. Now, before I talk about this one, let me now go to a bigger table. If you understand everything I've explained here, then I'm going to take you to a bigger table where we can now see. So look at this table. This is a customer's table. A customer's table talking about the customer ID, the customer name, the customer's phone number, the address, the city they come from, the the states, the zip code, the country they come from, and then the note about that customer. The next table I want to show you again is the cookies. So this is a business. This is the kind of product they have, or the product they have. This is the unit that was sold. This is the revenue that was generated from the sale. And this is the cost of each cookie. So this business sells cookie, actually. They sells cookie, and just like the smaller table I showed you, that smaller table, what do they sell? They sell different type of rice. So these people, they sell different type of cookie. The chocolate chips, the fortune cookies, the oatmeal raisin, the snickerdoodle, the sugar, and the white chocolate McDonald nuts. Now, they don't sell anything else. If you observe the previous table we used, you can see that these are the only product that they sell. They don't sell any other thing. If you come here, you can see it is the same product, just that they were repeating it. Like this customer now, this customer, you can see this 101, he bought this basmati rice. They ate it. After eating it, it was so nice. She came back again and then bought it here again, the same rice. But if you check all this rice, it is just the same type of rice that they sell. Because here, this is what the primary key table. So the rice cannot repeat. If any other one has to come here, it means they're adding a new type of rice. But for now, these are just the type of rice they sell. These 6 different type of rice. But here you can repeat because many customers are buying and buying and buying. Some customers are coming back to buy the same type. So definitely it is repeating. Now, let me take you back to the bigger table. So you can see that this company sells only this type of cookies and no other kind of cookie. So all their customers that are buying their cookies must buy one of these type of cookies that they sell. Now let me take you to the final table, which is the other table. Look at the other table now. It is bigger. So many, in fact, so many rows, about 700 rows. If you check the product that they were buying chocolate chips, chocolate chips, chocolate chips. You can see repeated Now they started buying fortune cookie, fortune cookie, fortune cookie. So if you keep checking, it is one out of those type of cookies they sell that they bought. Then the customer ID, you can see the customer. So we want to know who is this customer that loves this chocolate chip so much that they kept buying in different days. They kept buying. So what do? We go to the customers table and check out the customer that is 3. We can see that is Acme Bites. So this is a cookie company. They produce cookies and they don't sell to individuals like names. They sell to companies that resell, like wholesale. So if you can see their customer data, they sell to Fresh Delicious. This is a company name. ABC Groceries, this is a company, a business name. Acme Buy, this is a business name. Wholesale Food, this Wholesome Food, this is a business name. Pack and Shop Convenience Store. These are different stores, right? So these stores buy from them and they have something to say about each of these stores. This is the news I have to make about each of these stores. And each of these stores that are located in the United States, all of these stores. So can you now see the relationship between them? If I want to know this customer now, this Acme Bytes, I'm not seeing Acme Bytes here. How did I know it's Acme Bytes? It is because of what? The customer ID. I've gone to the customers table to check out who owns this ID, and I know it's Acme Bytes. Now, this is another thing here. If we come to the product they bought, it is chocolate chips. Now, which order? We can check out the order. We don't know. You can take this order ID and go to the orders table, and you can see more information about the order. So you can see this 266868. Come to the orders table. Okay, we are in the order table already. So if you want to check, you can go to product ID, you can go to the product table and you see that it's chocolate chips that was bought 3 times. Maybe we want to know the product ID, you can come here. So because we don't have product ID, the product ID is the name of the product itself. So sometimes the ID may not even be in numbers or those voucher that we used to. It can be the actual name of the product, like here now. This is actually an ID, but it is the name of the product. All right. So if we take this data to Power BI, should we take it to Power BI this night? Okay, yeah, we'll try to load it before we close. But before we close, let me finally just finish my slide. So that's the relationship. So now, when you talk about one-to-many, it means one-to-many, two tables relating to each other, one-to-many. It means that one information to many, that is, here now you can see that here is 1, like this chocolate chip is 1 here. It did not repeat. But when you come to the other table, you can see that it is many. Chocolate chips is plenty here. You can see so many. So the relationship between this table and the product table is what? 1 to many cookies. Only 1 cookie here, but many cookies here. That's the meaning of 1 to many. I think I'm explaining 1 to 1. So you hardly see 1 to 1. Like it's really rare, like 1 to 1 relationship. It means 1, like you have only 1 product, 1 ID. It doesn't make sense, but it still exists anyway. So, but the most common one is this 1 to many. That's one you see most of the times, 1 to many. The many-to-many, that one is rare. I've never come across such data. It means that you're going to have so many chocolate chips here. You also come to the primary key table, and you also have so many this thing here. It doesn't make sense. So it is 1 to many here. If you also go to the other table, let me go to which other table do we have? Customers table. You can also see that these are all the customers they have. They don't have any other customer. Maybe if you want to start distributing for them, you can come and register. Then you now have a new customer here. So it's now become a 6th customer. But for now, this is a customer. So let's check out the type of relationship that this customer table have with the other table. So we can see Fresh Delicious only appeared once here. So let's see if they appeared many times here to confirm that it is more than it's one to many. So now, how do we know? We can't even see the name of the customer here. So what do? We check for the ID of this customer. Trash the dishes. The ID is 1, right? Then we'll come back to the table. We can now look for 1. Look at 1 here. Okay, look at 1. So obviously it is one to many. They appear many times, you can see. So this means they place this order. They bought chocolate chips. They bought chocolate chips here. They bought chocolate chips. Let's go down. Here they bought chocolate chips. They bought chocolate chips. Let's see. Let's come down here again. We can't see them again. Okay, here now they bought fortune cookies. You see, so they can buy any type of product they want. Here they bought fortune cookies. Let's see if here they bought oatmeal raisin. So you see, the relationship is one to many. That is the relationship. So when you hear about cardinality is talking about relationship, and it can be one of these 3. All right. So let's also talk about cross-filter direction. So this cross-filter direction, you will understand it only when we get to Power BI. It is just a way of these tables, those columns, connecting to each other. So most of the times it's going to be just this single. It is called single. Filters propagate from the one side to many. So most times it is single, meaning that it is single, is only the customer, you can see it's just 1. This is many. The customer can buy as many times as they want. So it is going to be flowing. The connection is going to be flowing from 1 to many, which is single direction. It's just like, okay, you don't understand this one. Don't just bother yourself. When we get to this thing, you will understand it better. All right. So the next one is the both. So this is also a way that you allow connection to be flowing from both sides. This thing does not, don't worry, you understand this thing, we'll get to Power BI. There's no way I can explain it here. So now let's talk about the final thing I want to look at today, which is schemas. Schemas. So you can't run away from schemas. You must understand schemas. Just like I told you, you don't need to know this thing because you're not the one that will be doing this connection. In fact, Power BI will do this one automatically. Once you load this data now, you see it practically. Power BI will connect it for you. So schema is also called entity diagram. It simply shows you how the different tables are connected to each other in Power BI. All right, so you can see the order table. This is the order item. This is the product table. This is the merchant or the customer table. This is the user, and this is the country. You can see all these things are different tables, just like we saw in Excel. But now they are connected in Power BI. So Power BI is going to connect this ID to this ID. You see, all the tables are connected. It's going to connect this this one is integer to ID. So most times it must not be ID to ID, just like you saw in that product table. That product table, their ID was the cookie name, chocolate chips, fortunes, it was not like numbers, it was the actual product name that was the ID there. So sometimes it can be the name. So then this merchant is connected to products with integer. Then this one is integer to integer. I don't know what this integer is, but it's just like a picture. I'm just trying to show you how this connection works. Then this ID is connecting this table. So you can see all these tables are connected to one another. This one is connected to this one. 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 This is the only way it can function. So when you're actually visualizing and putting all of your charts, just know that something is going on behind the scene. And this is exactly what's going on behind the scene because there's a connection. All right. So then finally, now this schema that you're looking at here, there are different ways, different type of schemas, different ways that these connections can happen. But the most popular one is called the star schema. This is the most popular one. Just don't worry about other ones. This is the one you're going to be meeting all the time. In fact, this is the I used to assume that this is the only one, in fact. So this star schema is talking about the different ways that this thing happen. All right. So there's something we call the facts table and the dimension table. Let me quickly show you which of the table are we going to use. So let's use this one again. So you can see this is called the facts table. So this is called the dimension table. So this one is our dimension table. And these ones are called our facts tables. So the reason why it is called that is because dimension simply means that it is changing, like it has transaction. Another name for dimension is transactional table. So is either you call it transactional table or dimension table. This dimension table means that just like this, just take it as foreign key. It means that there's a duplicate, there's repetition. This customer can decide to buy again and again and again as many times as they want. So it means it has data that are recurring in this table. This is recurring, this one. But in our fact table cannot change. This one, transaction can happen anytime, any customer. In fact, this customer can walk in as many times as they want and carry out a transaction. A new line will be created for that new transaction, just like that. So it is changing. But for fact table, this thing now shows us that these are the only 5 customers we have. So whatever, even if we record 100 sales in a day, even if we record 1 million sales in a day, it must be from one of these customers. Just like in the case of the cookie, where is their customer table? Look at these customers. So in Nigeria, for example, Coca-Cola, if you know of Coca-Cola company, if you know of Nestle company, if you know of Indomie company, now if you know of Dangote Cement, they produce this cement in these companies. They produce those drink, Coca-Cola in those companies. You as an individual cannot go to Coca-Cola and buy, I want to buy 1 bottle of Coke. Inside big Coca-Cola company, they will just beat you. So they cannot sell to you. You cannot go to Dangote now and say, I want to build my house. I need 5 bags of cement. In fact, even if you need 1,000 bags of cement, you cannot buy because you're not a registered distributor. You have to go through some series of verification, the registration and all that before you can be able to become a distributor. And then Dangote will be the one to supply the cement to you. Then final consumers will now come to you and buy from you. That's how it works. So you see, it is not easy to add a new line here. It's not easy to add a new person because there's a process that has to be undergone. That's why I have just 5 customers. These are their 5 distributors. For you to become a Nestle distributor, for example, you must have, they will tell you, okay, you must get a location in a very good place, like in a market. Then you must rent a warehouse. You must have a certain amount of money, maybe 10 million, 12 million. So you see, it's not an easy process. Not anybody that can join. Before you join it, you must know who you are, like you must pass through some processes. Do you get? So you cannot easily have a new line. I don't know if you get it. Does any person understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand? Is everybody
Yes,
sleeping
sir.
off? Okay, good. So that is what it means by a fact table. It cannot easily repeat. You cannot easily have a new data come in. But for transactional table, you can see in this transaction, we have over 700 transactions happening. In fact, within the next second, you can have the 800, 900, 1,000 transactions. That is the meaning of fact table and transactional table. So for fact table, it's always in the center here, connecting to other dimensions. You can have as many dimensions as you want, but you can only have one fact table in the middle here. And this, you can see it look like a star. That's why it's called a star schema. Okay. So now let's see if we can go to Power BI and then see all of these things in action. Let's load those 3 data. And okay, now let me remove this one. Let me also remove this one. Then okay, I just removed Power BI that I'm looking for. This is Power BI. These are data yesterday. So you can see all this is in just one table, right? So let me close it. I don't want to save. I don't want to save. Don't save. Then let me just launch it. Let me launch. It's going to take a while. Let me check our time. We'll see I've stopped to 30 minutes. So if we load, remember you can load as many data as you want on Power BI at the same time. So let's get data. Let me see where I have that data. I think I have it in my Power BI cookies. Okay. So I have it in my Power BI cookies. So remember how to get data. You click on blank reports, then you go to get data. So now we are getting Excel data because that thing is Excel. And it will now bring me to my system where I will go to look for the file, the folder where it is. So it's working on it. Just give it a little time. All right, so it brings up my system. I'll go to my desktop. I'll go to here. I'll go to Power BI. I'll go to cookies. You can see cookies. So you cannot select all at the same time. So you must have to bring them one by one. It is the same thing in SQL. So I'll bring in cookies first. While it is loading, I'll go again. Okay, so you see, because it's an Excel file, it's going to bring in 2 tables. So I'll just choose one. All right. I'll choose this one. You can see the preview of the table. Then I am not transforming just for the sake of this video. I'm just trying to load straight up, okay? So, but in your case, you may need to check if the data is okay, check the data type and all that, clean your data before. So I'll just load straight up. So while it is loading, let's allow it to load. Each table that comes in, Power BI will automatically connect it to the existing ones. I'll show you that. You can see synchronizing schema. So it is checking if there's already an existing table there that it will connect it to. It will check it has now loaded it. So let's see. So you see, this is the table 1. Look at it. These are all the all the columns in that table. Okay. So look at what we call preview, which is where you are. Look at this one, the table. If you come here, it's going to show you your table. Look at the table headings, which is this table. It will show you here. Then if you come to this model view, it is also called schema. This is where it will now show you. Look at the table here. You can see all the columns of that table. But because there is no other table here, so there's no connection. Do you understand? So now let's bring in a new table. So you now see what will happen. You come here. Let's go to Excel. And then we'll connect the customers table. You bring it in. Let's watch. So it will take time to go through. It will ask you to select which one. I'll select this one. Then you can see the preview. I'll load it. So it is going to be synchronizing the schema. Then it has synchronized. I brought in the second table. You can see. Look at this. Look at the second table, all the columns. Now let's go to our schema. You can see the schema. Look at it. There is no connection between them. Obviously, why is there no connection? Because if you check, this is the products table, the cookies table. This is cookie, right? Let's check the customers table. This is the customers table. Where is the customers table? Did I delete it? I think I deleted it too. Okay, customers table. So you can see there's no connection between them. There's no common role. This is customer ID. This is product type. Like that's nothing. So they cannot be connected, right? That's why you are seeing no relationship here. Now let's bring in the third table. Come here. Then bring the other table. So before bringing the other table, let's see. For this is the other table. This is the customer's table. Okay, this is the cookie type. This is the cookie type. This cookie type has all the type of cookie, right? Then let's look at the other table. This other table has what? Product. So product is same thing as cookie type. So the name of the heading may not be the same thing. Here it is product. The name of this column is product, but it contains the same thing as the heading here that says cookie type. I don't know if you get my point, you people. This table now is the same thing as this table. They have a relationship because what is inside this table is exactly what is inside this table here. Now, let's look at the customers table. This is customer ID. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is the same thing that is here in the customer ID here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is no 6, there is no 7, there is no 8, there is no 0. It is the same thing, just that here, this place is a dimension table. It keeps repeating. But in the customer's table, this is a fact table. It cannot repeat, it cannot duplicate. Yeah, so now let's go and connect it and see what happens. So let's bring it out. We'll bring in this one. So this one will take a little while because it has 100 rows. So I'll just load this straight up. I'll preview it. Then I'll load. So let's wait a little while. It's synchronizing. You see, it has detected everything. So this is the third table. You can see all the columns here, right? So let's look at the schema. Can you see a connection? Let's remove this one. You see a connection now. You can move this in as much as you want. Look at the connection. These two has connection. And this one also has connection with this one. So we can bring this one here. We can put this one in the middle. Can put this one in the middle. Now, if I try to plot anything between these two, they will not work because there's no connection. Who can tell me? Now, I want you to help me. Who can tell me the reason why these two couldn't connect? Power BI automatically connected these two. Automatically, once you load table here, it automatically connects it as a feature. I'll show you how to turn on that feature in case your own don't, because some people by default, your Power BI should be able to do this. But if you turn off that feature of allowing it to connect table automatically, it will be turned off. It means you have to come here and do it manually, right? So it saw this one and connected to this one. Now, why did it not connect to this one? Someone should tell me, please, someone fast.
Because table 1 does not have the primary key. If you look at table 2 and table 3, they both have the customer ID. That is what is connecting the two tables. But in the third table, I don't see anything that is connecting, any primary key that is connecting them.
Can you rephrase?
I'm saying that if you look at the table 1 with 2 in the bracket and table 3, you see that there's customer ID in both of the tables. That is what is connecting them. That's what is the link between the two tables. But then if you look at the table 1 on the left, the third one, there's nothing that is connecting them. So there will be no connection between the two of them.
In other words,
In
there's
other
no
words,
common column.
okay.
There's no common column, right?
Yes.
Because here you have customer ID, customer ID. Obviously, if you click here, it will show you the connection, that this is the connection. If you click on this thing, do you remember when I talked about cross-functional and single? So this is the meaning of that cross-functional. If you go back here in my slide, you can see, did I close the slide? So if you go back here, you can see when I talked about cardinality. No, Yeah, I see this cardinality and cross-functional, this single direction and the both direction. This is it. So that one to many, you can see one to many. This star you're seeing here means many. One, it means that it is one. That is, this is the fact table, and this is the dimension table. So one in this ID now, it is one customer to many others. They place many orders. You can see this star. So if it is one to one, it will be one here and one here. It means one customer place one order. That is, it's like when the both tables are both primary key, one customer, one order, one customer, one order. One customer cannot place two orders. That is when you have one to one, which is almost impossible. All right. Then when you have many to many, is many customers can place many orders. So you have this star and star here. So once you look at it, you can see star here, you can see one. This is one to many. And the direction is one way. You can see the arrow. You can only flow from here to here. All right. But sometimes the direction can be both ways. It means you have a second arrow pointing down. You have arrow pointing up and down. It will be both ways. It means the direction can flow from here to here or from here to here. Do you understand it, please? Does anybody understand this thing? Can you ask question? Hi, Cindy, are you here? Anyway, if you don't understand, don't worry. You don't even need this. You don't even need to, you're not the one doing all these things. Probably I'll help you do some of them while the system, I'm the administrator, will help you. We'll already have all these things sorted out before you even come to do your analysis. But imagine if you're plotting. Okay, let me go and plot something. Let's plot. We want to find out total revenue generated in the city. So let's come here. We'll come, this is table 3. So this is city. So we'll have city here. Let's use this chart. So we'll have city here, then we'll have total revenue here as well. So you can see city. So you see table 1 and table 2, there's no relationship, so you can never get anything meaningful. But now let's try table 3. Let's try table 3. Let's put revenue. So let's remove this revenue here. Let's put this revenue here. So you can see that's giving us something meaningful. We can now see that this city gave us the highest revenue and this city gave us the lowest revenue. Do you see what happened? The reason is because table 1 is not connected to the transactional table. So these two tables are already connected. That's why this two is working. Because these two are not connected, that's why we couldn't get any results. So let me put this one aside. Let me repeat the same thing. Let's now see the difference. Let me bring out this. Oh, sorry. Let me bring out this one side by side. Just observe what's going to happen now. So we want to know the revenue. We want to know the revenue by city. So we'll bring in city here. And then let's close this one. Let's open this one. Then we'll bring in revenue. We want to know the revenue from each city. So because there's no connection, it is not working. It's never going to work. Imagine if you're working in a company and then you encounter this kind of thing. You now plot a graph and you now plot a visual and it's giving you this and everybody's looking at you. Everybody's just there watching. And you don't even know anything about schema. You don't know anything about table relationship as a data analyst, even though it is not your job to do the connections, but you do not know anything about it. Like you're going to be embarrassed here because you're supposed to fix this problem because this is a problem. All you needed to do was just to go to the schema and see that, oh, these two tables are not connected. That's why. And we know that the cookie type is same thing as the product ID. So all I need to do is just to take cookie type and connect it to product ID. And now, this now brings us to the new relationship. Now select the type of relationship is going to be is what? One to many. You can see one to many. Because you're connecting, you're going to choose which column you want to connect it to. You can choose if it is this column, if it is this column. But remember that this is the customer. We're looking for the product. This is the product. Remember that this is the column, right? And the name of this column is cookie type. And if you go to the dimension table, which is the other table, the name here is what? Product and not cookie type. So it is one to many, as you can see. So first of number one thing you need to know is the name of the column you want to connect, first of all. So we know we want to connect the product table, product column towards cookie type column. So we'll come back to connection. So this is the cookie type. This is the column. In this table 3, what do you want to product is the name. So now we have gotten this one right. The next thing is to choose the type of connection. So see, many to one, one to many, one to one, one to many, many to many. Now we need to go back again and check. Is it, you can see it is one in this cookie type, which is the what? The facts table, which is the what? The primary key. So this is going to help you. The reason why I'm repeating it again and again is because I want you to stick to your head that this is the primary key. It does not duplicate, it does not repeat. So it is one. You cannot see it twice. There's just one chocolate chip, one fortune cookie, one oatmeal. So it is one. Now let's go to the other table that we are connecting it to. You can see that chocolate chips is repeating here so many. It is one to many. You can see one to many, right? So we'll come back here. We can see that it is what? We'll select the right one to many. You can see. Then single, the direction. Remember the direction. It is single, right? See, pointing upward. So the direction is single, not both. You don't want it to go both. If you put both, it will even reject it, but it is single. Then mark this relationship active, make it active. Then what next? You click on save. Once you click on save, it has connected for us. You see, it has created that connection. Now let's go back and look at our visual. You'll be amazed that the problem has been solved. You see. So if I repeat, if I repeat the process again, it is supposed to automatically solve the issue itself. I'm not supposed to come back here. Or is it not seeing this thing that we did? Table 1, cookie type. Okay, no, revenue. Revenue, you want to know the revenue from each city. Which table is this? Table 3, right? So, table 3 from each city. Where is city? Revenue. We're looking at revenue from each city. So this is table 3 and table 1. Okay, yeah. This is table 1. Revenue. Okay, what we can get here, the information we can get here, revenue by cookie type. Okay, each cookie type. So you can see, we can now see the cookie type that gave us the highest sale and the one that gave us the lowest sale. So we can see which one customer is buying and which one customer is not buying. So you can see that the problem has been solved. If I come back here and I remove, look, I cancel this connection, delete. If I delete the connection, the problem comes back again. We now have a problem. It has spoiled the whole thing. And to solve this problem is just to simply come here and connect the cookie type. Everything is good. Now that we have created the connection back, what happens? The problem is solved. Can you see what happened? Good. So this is the implication. This is this is everything about table connection. I think I've explained it to the best of. Does anybody still not understand? So now we have just 3 tables, or we can have as many tables as possible. Do you get? Now these tables are all connected. You can plot, you can take information from, you can plot anything, you can plot the total revenue by cookie type, you can plot the total revenue by city, by country, by, in fact, they are seeing each other, and you can plot any information. You can pick any data from any table that you want to pick from. You're not limited. All right. Unlike when it was not connected, you cannot actually pick from different tables. So, but sometimes again, all these tables can be in just one table, just like the previous data set that we used, the Titanic data set, everything was in one table. But I've already told you that it's wrong. It shouldn't be, this is the right way to do it. But sometimes you need to merge tables, sometimes you need to split tables and all that. So I think we'll stop here so that you'll be able to digest all of these things. And so do we have any questions? Let's take questions before we close. We'll have just 1 minute. Let's take your questions. Mr. Isaac, are you there? Baron or Isaac? Hi, Karen. Karen, you have questions? So I want to take questions now.